When I get asked, Paul, what do you do? My answer is very simple. I solve sales problems, period. Now, this is the way I live my life. This is the mindset I've always had. This is what I had to go through and still go through, at times to get to success or to reach my success level, whatever level that may be. This is the step. So there is no elevator to success. There is no shortcut to success. I speak with a few people every day, and people say, you're lucky. I say, yeah, I am lucky because I work hard. And the harder I work, the luckier I get. So there is no shortcut. You have to pay your dues. And you have to, what I call, take the steps. When you go up the steps, it takes you longer to get to the top than if you take the elevator, right? So that's what I mean by that. You have to be willing to do the grind. Now, there's some people on social media that disagree with the grind, and that's okay. But the grind really is a mindset. It's not just that it's hard. It's your mindset, the grind. In other words, you do the things, the basic things that you need to do every day to continue to grow, to get better. Because if you're not improving, you're getting worse, right? And so what happens is with social media, it's a great tool. It's great to have. A lot of people use it as a crutch. In other words, they take the path of least resistance that they're not willing to continue to do the work because they're on social media. What do I mean by that? They thinking that social media is going to sell for them instead of them doing the selling. You see, chatting with a lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners, they all want to make sales. And I say, well, what are you doing to generate sales? Are you doing the selling yourself? No. Well, why not? They want the shortcut. They want social media to generate sales for them versus them using social media so that they can sell and generate more sales by doing the selling. You see, for me, I don't mind the grind work. I don't mind mixing organic way of doing things with automated way, which is called social media. And with all the different platforms out there, there's so much opportunity to generate sales. But what you have to do as an entrepreneur and business owner, especially a small business owner just starting their business or maybe 3 years old or less, you got to do the work. You got to continue to do the grind work. There's nothing wrong with that. It makes you stronger. It keeps you more sharp. It builds you a stronger foundation. There is no shortcut to success. There is no elevator to success. And success is different for everyone. Does that make sense? Making $1 million a year may be a sign of success for one person. It may not be success for another person. So success is really a different thing for everyone. But one thing that should be in common for everyone is that there's no shortcut to it. I did a podcast a few weeks ago where I debunked, a myth. I call it a myth where, work smarter, not harder. For those of you who've seen that, that it makes no sense. Because once you understand how to do that and there's no shortcut and you have the fundamentals, you're going to work harder and smarter to being successful, right? It's just the way it is. So again, ask yourself this question, am I trying to take shortcuts? Or am I willing to take the stairs and get a compound effect? Because when you take baby steps and you continue to compound, that's going to eventually grow. You see, when there's an inferno or fire, let's say in California, what caused that big fire to take place? It just didn't happen. Something led it to that. Little things that they didn't do that they should have done. And then because they didn't solve the problem, they ignored it, stood there, It started a little fire, then it became a flame, then it became an inferno. But it just didn't happen overnight. It took baby steps. They had to go up the stairs. You see, so success, there's no shortcut. It took baby steps. They had to go up the stairs. You see, so success, there's no shortcut to it. Now, there's some people that do the wrong thing and generate money and make a lot of money, being unethical, finding shortcuts, doing a lot of deceptive work. And, they wind up with a lot of material wealth and success. But are they really successful? Did they really earn that? And, ask yourself this question. What is success for you? And are you willing to do the work to reach that success in your mind? Or are you wanting to get shortcut to success? Does that make sense? So you got to understand that there is no shortcut. For me personally, success for me personally is always keeping my word and building righteous character every day. It's not about material things. It's not about wealth. It's not about money. All that comes because of the work that I do. But the most important work for me and success for me is building righteous character every day. Getting better at building a better character. Keeping my word. Saying what I mean what I say. Wasn't always like that. So you got to ask yourself, one, what is success for me? And number two, am I doing the work? Am I taking the steps or the stairs necessary to reach that goal? Excuse me, guys. So, I hope this has been helpful. I want to thank you all for being part of the Paul Cruz Show. The most valuable skill you can learn is to become a dynamic, powerful, and exciting sales person.